and welcome back to the Curious Life podcast. This is a very special edition of the show. We have the incredible Jonathan Mark joining us again. Jonathan, it's so exciting to have you here again.
Thank you for having me again. I hope your fans don't get too bored of me, honestly.
Never,
so I'm sorry.
Never enough. I had so many amazing messages, actually. And I had talked about my psychic medium, Elizabeth, and sent her the episode. And she was just, so thrilled that I'm still telling some of these amazing stories from our early time together.
So cool.
So, I think people are really into, this world. And I think even if people aren't actively looking into it, like me, like I, go to see people, I think everybody's interested because it's something you can't really explain, but there are these incredible experiences that people have that are just, undeniably something else. And it's exciting to kind of be next to it a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I definitely I think I said this last time, but I really do see like a shift in this stuff with pretty much everyone, honestly. Like even people that are, I guess, more on the not believing side, I've seen them kind of go on the fence, which is like still like a huge move for people more than like them being like so far like against it. But there's obviously people that, have their skepticism about it, but that's okay. They have to experience it for themselves and then they can make a judgment. That's kind of what I tell people. I'm like, sit down with me for 10 minutes and then make a judgment after.
Yeah. My dad is a very like pragmatic, he's a doctor, he's a man of science, and I remember telling him some of these experiences that I've had. And he, is he didn't really, I was like, can you explain it? Like, tell me what it is. If it's not, a psychic medium ability, what is it? He goes, it's just, you can't explain it. It's just, what their brain does. And I'm like, well, then, doesn't that make it real? And doesn't that make it, he sort of had no way to explain it. And I think that sort of is a fine way to look at it. Like, you can have a bit of skepticism if you're not really someone that's had experiences. As you say, it can sound a little bit far-fetched, but once you've had those experiences, there's just no way to say it's fake. You just can't. Like you can't necessarily explain it. Like 1 + 1 = 2. It's something else, and we have to just kind of accept that.
Yeah, and like I think kind of what you just said too, which is another shift is like the medical field is really like diving into this. So it's not even just like because it's like a popular thing, like the spirituality stuff, like doctors are studying people like myself and other people kind of just to see like, like what part of the brain is active when you do it. And so there's been like a lot of stuff like that with me with this, like they'll, like bring a random person in and they'll be like, read this person. Right. And then they'll be like, tell me a memory about when you were a kid. And then they like kind of go back and forth with it. So they want to see which part of the brain is like active when you do reading and a memory gland. And then they do different things, but as they're doing different like brain tasks, they're throwing readings in to see if it's consistent with the same part of the brain. So it's and these are like, I can't say who I'm doing it with, but like I could definitely tell you that these are like the big universities like in the United States, kind of like a Johns Hopkins, Columbia, like NYU, like those people are all doing it. Like for like I know that for a fact. So like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I would love to read the findings, because how incredible if you can nail it down to a specific part of the brain, and maybe you have, that part of the brain is more active or more engaged.
That's kind of well, like that's kind of what they were saying. They were kind of like explaining to me as if like aside from like the muscle thing that I probably said is like like we all like only can access, I don't even know the proper number, like let's say 8 to 10% of our brain. But then like with me or with someone or pretty much everyone, it's just like I can access maybe 1% more, just stronger, but everyone can access that 1%. I'm just able to really go into that 1% a little bit stronger than the other person. So it's like, it's just fascinating. Like I read a lot of like NASA scientists too, from like neurosurgeons, like everyone. Like it's just really fascinating that the people who you would think would be the most skeptical are the ones that want the reading the most. Like it's just like
Yeah.
my like brain melts sometimes with that, because I'm like I would think that you're like a doctor, right, or like a neurosurgeon, so you are very
Yeah.
black and white, like,
Yeah.
and there's no
Yeah.
like gray area. It's like
Yeah.
everything is science, everything has, whatever. But
Yeah.
they're the ones now that are making it so people know it's real. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy to me. It is crazy. I mean, like
Amazing.
now people know that like law enforcement, FBI, CIA like uses mediums and stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's now like out there, and
Yeah.
there's a reason why. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know why, really. I'm just like
Yeah.
along for the ride. So
Yeah.
like
You're the conduit. Like,
yeah.
you're just like, okay, well, I can do this, so use me how you need to.
Yeah. I'm like, you want me to talk about this? Sure, let's do it. You want me to talk to this
Yes.
person? Sure, like let's do it. Like
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to like tone it down with this stuff. So
No, but this is what I was saying to you off air before, that like it's so incredible that you are using this gift to do this. Is like truly altruistic work. You are doing
thank you.
hours and hours and hours and hours of work every single week, every month, every year, completely for free. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what people need to understand. This is not
Yeah.
you trying to get famous, trying to get rich, trying to profit off people's pain. It's the complete opposite. You could have this gift and just tuck it away and ignore it, and continue that career you were heading down to be in law enforcement
Yeah.
or whatever else. You could be. Nobody is making you do this, and you are
Thank
doing
you.
it for free and with so much of your energy. And as you said last time, we know now what a tax and what a toll it actually does take on your body and
Yeah.
your brain, and you do it all anyway. And I just think it's amazing.
Thank you. That's so nice. Thank you so
Amazing.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And now I'm going to use and abuse you.
Do it. Do it.
So when we were recording last time,
Mhm.
we got towards the end and I asked if you had time to tune into something that's been haunting me my whole life, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people my age would have a similar kind of experience. So we didn't have time to do it last time, and you graciously again are giving me more of your time and energy.
Oh my God. No. Yeah.
So there was a few things that happened in the late 80s and early 90s. And just for everybody listening, Jonathan has not looked into this. He prefers not to read anything and just to kind of come into it cold. So I'm just going to try and give a quick summary of what happened, and we'll see if you can tune in and see what happened. So there was a spate of cases where little girls were asleep at home on a Saturday night, and a man broke into the house, tied up said it was going to be a robbery. So the parents went along with it. Okay, no problem. He came in with a knife and a small handgun, tied up the parents. In one case, tied up a sibling, and then proceeded to take the daughter, who was maybe 10 years old at the time, sexually assault her for hours in the home, and then left. So that was kind of the first one that came to, the public knowledge. Then there were a couple more cases that happened again and again, except the next two times he actually took the girls away. So it was the same sort of thing, broke into the house, tied up family members, and took the young girl somewhere else and then let them go. So one girl, I think, was kept captive for maybe 19 hours or something. The next one became more brazen and she was kept for 50 hours and then released. And the media kind of dubbed this guy Mr. Cruel. And the girl's report at the time was actually, he was very calm, very quietly spoken, actually not big, scary, threatening language or anything. It was actually very almost like Mr. Cool was what the police had said. He was Mr. Cool, but Mr. Cruel. So he was very in control and very quietly and calmly spoken. Now, there was obviously the whole of Melbourne was alarmed, and I was a girl the same age and terrified every night that something would happen. But then there was another case of Karmein Chan. So she was a young girl who was at home on a Saturday night with her two young sisters, and somebody broke in, tied up the siblings, locked them in a cupboard, and took Karmein. And we were following the case in the media, and everybody thought this was another Mr. Cruel situation, except that Karmein never returned. So unlike the other girls, Karmein was missing. And this was on the front page of the papers every single day. And obviously this is a long time before social media. So it was on the radio, it was on the news, and it was in the newspapers. And so we were all just terrified. Nobody knew what to think. And there were two sort of camps in the media with Karmein's case, where they thought this is Chinese mafia. Her father owned a restaurant, and they thought it's Asian mafia of some kind, or it's Mr. Cruel. Right. And many months or years later, I can't remember the exact timing, remains were found and identified as Karmein, and she had 3 gunshot wounds to the head. So they were sort of saying it looked execution style. Could this feed into the theory that it was a mafia-related thing? Or we do know that Mr. Cruel went around with a handgun. Had she been really resistant? And her mother talked about her being really feisty and thought she probably would have tried to rip off his mask. Or maybe she identified him in some way and he had to, quote unquote, take care of it. But nobody has ever known what happened, and Mr. Cruel has never been caught. And of course, they linked cases before to Mr. Cruel, and they think, perhaps he was operating for quite a while before those big 3 cases came to the media. And they had some people of interest, but it's gone nowhere. So there's been no arrests. Nobody knows what happened to Karmein, and nobody knows who Mr. Cruel is. So I guess the question would be, is Mr. Cruel responsible for Karmein's disappearance and ultimate death? And do you think we'll ever know what happened? And can these things be solved something like 30 plus years later?
So when I stare off, that's when I kind of tap in. So for whoever's watching, that's kind of what I'm doing. But well, you're talking about the last girl that passed, because she's probably the one who's coming through right now. What she's showing to me is that the person who did this, she keeps putting maps in front of me. Someone who knows the area, but not only that, is well versed in if they know airports, electricity routes, things like that, because she's showing to me that someone is very well experienced in not only knowing the area, but also it's airports, electricity. It's anything. This person seems like they know enough about construction, electricity, the routes, the airports, in and outs of stuff, just enough and pretty, I guess over time. But the answer to what I can see is that, it seems like it was Mr. Cruel, for what I'm saying. And you mentioned her being feisty and essentially fighting back. The way that it's taking a mask off and identifying who it is, kind of what you were saying. And that's exactly kind of what happened. It looks like she was able to vividly identify who this person is with markings on face, etc. I'm not saying this person had tattoos, but just markings of whether they have a scar, a mole, or some type of something to be able to identify. The thing that's interesting about this is, and I could be wrong, but she's putting a lot of money in front of me, which means the reward must be pretty absurd at this point for anyone that can do this. And do I feel that you're going to get an answer to this? It's a very tricky thing, because what I keep seeing also at the same time is she keeps handing off things to me. When someone hands off things to me, typically what it means is evidence that's tampered, not purposely. It's if it's getting processed and moved, it's being tampered. things get like, especially if it's 30 years, like you're saying. So it's like, that's just what's going to happen. I do think like there'll be some type of answer to this. Do I think that they're still putting all their efforts into it? Maybe not. I'm sure they have many other cases that they unfortunately have to work on, but it does seem like there will be something regarding this case. But it does seem like it's the same person for multiple things, and it also seems like this, like, I know you mentioned they went after 10-year-old like girls, like that was the thing. He was going to essentially bring her back. It's the identifying part that is drawing like a huge I guess like red flag when it comes to this, but also where he was taking them is very like, I think sometimes people think they watch movies and stuff, people will take people to these very secluded areas, and sometimes they do. But in this scenario, from what I'm being shown, it's a very not public, but people go past this all the time. Like, it's a very like unassuming spot. And the reason why I'm only saying that, again, it's like if someone knows how to work a warehouse and the electrical stuff and knows the grids and knows like, and I'm from the US obviously, so it's like I don't know how the power grids go there. We have them that like here that are above ground and some that are below ground depending on where you are. And if someone can track where the main source is, and no one's going to go there, it's like going to a power plant. Like, why would people go to a power? But my point is that he knew entrances and ways like into these like very complex things like airports. Like, it's kind of like people use this term blind spots is the best way I can kind of explain it. And it's like blind spots, but like where people constantly go by, it's just a blind spot that you wouldn't, it's like unassuming. And that's kind of what I see. So like, to answer your question, and without going like continuously getting into like so much detail about stuff like this, it's really, yes, I do think there will be an answer, but I don't know if they're like, I don't, so like this is also something like it's being shown, she's showing it to me. Maybe we bleep this part out if you don't mind, but there's someone named like that's like pretty dominant in this.
Okay.
So only why I want you to believe, it's like I don't want your safety or anyone's safety to be like in jeopardy and stuff, but there's people that know things that people aren't saying things. Do I think they're Mr. Cruel? Probably not. That's being shown to me. Because if it was, then I'd be able to solve all these cases and then it wouldn't even be a thing. But it seems like these people know that. And I also think, from my perspective, from what I see, from what's coming through, they have pretty much an idea of who it is. It's just gathering the evidence and the DNA. And the problem, like I said, from what I see, is the tampering. And by tampering, it's just the movement and someone touching it and stuff that really screws it all up. So that's a very long-winded answer, but I wanted just to give you all I got with it.
Do you feel like he's still alive?
So this is interesting. So I do think he's still alive. Yeah, I just think he's like, I think he's someone, again, who's very just like unassuming, just like someone who you would pass in a supermarket or you pass in the gas station and you just think they're a nice person, like, or smile, like, you know what I mean? Like a very unassuming person. Like, I don't think you're going to look like, there's some people that profile people based on how they look, because sometimes they look like they're not good people. And I think that this person is not that. I think this person, you would like let your, I'm not saying anyone would do this, but it's like you would let your kids talk to, be like, oh my God, like, this is my son, this is my daughter, like, I'm so sorry, like, whatever. But you would let the conversation like continue. But I just think that it's just a very unassuming person.
Well, that fits with a lot of what I have heard from, reports over the years, that actually, he probably was a very unassuming, softly spoken person. But
Yeah.
Jonathan, like, my God, the electricity grid and airport things, what you may not be aware is that the girls that were released were able to share with police that they'd heard planes overhead quite frequently. So they must have been near an airport, and they were let out near electricity power plant type places. And Karmein was found in one of those like power plants, right near a power plant, electricity
Wow.
transformer place.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys had that. It's just what was like, and
Yes.
I know that's very naive or whatever of me, but like I really the way that it was being shown is like the grid of like where people constantly will go, and they were just basically saying that, and again, like I'm not saying this guy's this, but it seems like he's like an electrician, because it seems
Mm-hmm.
like the way it's being shown, they keep sparking in front of me. It just seems like if someone knows so much about that trade, they might be an electrician. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying that that's what he is, but it
Yeah.
seems like he's very well versed in that. So I'm
Yeah.
going to assume, and also from what they were showing me too, aside from the airplane stuff, is that it seems like he knew like the grid like format of things.
Mm-hmm.
And typically people that are either electrician or work in like that field, that like maybe works on the transformers or whatever, like only know where certain spots are and know how to operate, and know like, because like people like me, like I know a little bit, but if you put me in there, I'm going to touch something, I'm probably going to blow up, or because like I just don't know. And
Yeah.
it seems like he, again, it's these blind spots. It's like so obvious blind spot that you wouldn't think it would be an obvious blind. Like I don't know how to explain it.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Wow.
My
Wow.
heart breaks for that family, and
Mm.
I hope they get justice, because that's pretty horrible. But it is
Yeah.
crazy because the person still, like, to me seems like they're out there, just way
Are you,
older.
yeah, way older? Do you think there's a risk that I mean, would he still be offending?
I don't think so.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
also think, and I'm not saying that he didn't do it much after. He probably did to some extent, who knows? But I think the murder, like, it's like when people have to like lay low for a little bit, like that's
Mhm.
kind of, and I'm sure, people have patterns typically, so they go back to what they do. But I think that really like shaped him to be like, holy shit. Oh,
Yeah.
holy crap. Sorry.
Swear away.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it just got out of hand, and you could see the behavior seemed to get like to escalate. The first thing happened
Yeah.
in the home, the next thing went for longer outside the home, the next one was even longer outside the home, the family home, and then
Yeah.
culminating in Carmen's death.
Oh my God. Well,
Yeah.
my heart breaks for them. So like,
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's
I know
so,
that
it's just
the
so
whole of
crazy.
Australia, I mean, we were, you know, I know that being a kid that age, we were all just certain like could be us next. And I remember,
I mean, yeah.
so much of my anxiety still to this day, going to bed, I'm checking every window and
Yeah.
door and under the beds and in the cupboards legitimately every single night,
How can you
making sure my
not?
kids are safe.
No,
I
like how
mean,
can you not? I mean, like
yeah.
that's super traumatic, and especially like you were that age, you were in that area, you were the target demo, unfortunately, and it's like I would be petrified.
Yeah.
Like I would be petrified to like I would lock all my windows, like, and what's
Yeah.
crazy too is like this guy probably knew how to navigate that stuff as well. I'm
Mm,
assuming he was probably well versed in that too. So like
yeah.
just an assumption based on what I saw. So like it's
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a little this is definitely like a gnarly one. I'm not gonna lie. This is
Yeah.
definitely like a crazy one.
It is. And I think the unknown factor makes it really scary for people you just kind of like a sitting duck.
Yeah.
And I think, at that time it wasn't really clear like how was he finding these families? Was he stalking for a
Right.
long time? Had he been the electrician that came to do some work on the house?
Well, that's
Or,
kind of what I think
you
it
know?
was. I think it was something like that. I think he
Mm,
was like able to like get into people's homes, or because again, like I'm just assuming he was an electrician. I'm just
mm,
assuming based on
yeah.
what I saw, and like it appears to me he's either that or like a handyman, right? Like it's like one of the
Mm,
two.
yeah.
So, but I'm assuming because like I said, they were showing to me like all like the sparks and the this. I'm like, this guy knows what he's doing electrically, so he knows.
Yeah.
So I'm just assuming he's an electrician.
Yeah. I wonder if, yeah, maybe it was even something to do with phone lines back then,
It could
you know,
be.
That's
Yeah,
all.
I've
And you could
yeah,
get a knock on the door and it's like,
could
"Hi,
be
I'm here from the phone
yeah,
line
yeah,
guy."
yeah.
And you just let them in to do
Mhm.
whatever they have to do.
Yep.
Especially in the 80s and 90s. It
Oh,
was
it's such
like,
a different time. Such a
yeah.
different time. I mean, I wasn't really alive for that, but like but I can just tell you just like working on cases and stuff that like how they investigated was different. Like aside from the like advanced technology or just like technology advancement, but how open people were. They were just like
Mm,
like they were like giving everyone the benefit of the doubt because like they couldn't fathom this stuff to even really happen. So
yeah.
like I'm really learning when I'm doing these cases with people the time frames of like how people thought like
Yeah.
and like it's just so different than like even 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago
Yes.
is so different than it is now. So like I
Yeah.
kind of understand, but it's crazy. And it's also crazy
Yeah.
that the technology advancement too of things. And I mean, I'm sure like in your area cuz you come from like a very populated area. So
Hmm.
like I would assume that their technology is like pretty advanced, but it's like again, if stuff is tampered, how can you really go backwards? You can't.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
problem. So it's like
Yeah.
any case that's like 30, 40 years, it's like it's a very tricky game unless you have like a straight up confession or like you like just something like that. I mean, yes, there's DNA stuff, but it's like that's pretty difficult to withhold and not touch evidence that's 30, 40 years old and
Yeah.
not tamper with it, like as far as like moving it or dust gets in or a fingerprint
Yeah.
of yours gets on it. It's like really screws things up. So
Yeah,
like,
and you can imagine the standards
yeah,
in the late 80s and early 90s would
different.
would be completely different
So different.
to now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a gnarly case, and if this family's listening, obviously I'm more than happy to assist in any way that I can. So
Wow. Wow, that's incredibly generous.
no,
Jonathan,
of course, yeah.
you're amazing. And,
Thank you.
to everybody listening, if this is a story that rattled you and, touches you, like, please, let's talk. Let's not,
Yeah,
hold this in. Um, Reach out to people. It was really, really scary. And, even before I was messaging Jonathan saying like, I know we're going to tap into this and I'm really scared. So
yeah,
it's still like, it brings up so much for people. It was such a vulnerable time. And I think, most people who were my age then probably have kids of their own now. And
yeah,
the fears are the same. There was a recent spate of attempted abductions of kids in my local area. There were like
yeah.
3 or 4 brazen at a football game on a Saturday. A 10-year-old boy there was an attempted abduction of him in broad daylight
It's
with
crazy.
parents everywhere.
Yeah.
Same in a shopping center. A
Mm-hmm.
young kid they attempted to grab her with her family in a busy weekend shopping center.
It's insane.
Like these things happen in cycles, and it reactivates all of that anxiety and that fear. And I guess all we can do is be aware that these things happen and still try to you know live life to the best of our ability. And if you are feeling anxious and worried, talk to each other about it.
Yeah.
And
Don't stay silent. That's the worst thing.
yeah.
Worst thing. Talk
Yeah.
to someone, anyone.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
DMs are open if you need to talk. I'm here. So
Oh, you're
yeah.
so beautiful. I
Thank you.
mean, you've got no time in at all. Every minute of your day is spent helping people, and the fact that you're still offering to be available for people is just so generous.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
thank you for using your energy to tune into this one. I
Of
really,
course.
really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll have to get you back on again. Let me use more of your time and energy.
Please, I love
Um,
it. I love doing this with you. It is so much fun. It is so much fun. I really love doing it. It's awesome.
oh, amazing. Well, I mean, there are so many other cases that we could dive into, but
Yeah.
next time maybe not such a scary
Yeah,
one.
no. Well, what let's have your fans just like send you in some like cases and we can like tackle some of them, whatever it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, guys, you've heard it here from Jonathan himself. If there
Yeah.
are any cases that you have had on your mind your whole life, maybe something that's affected you and your family,
Yeah.
you
Definitely.
know, send it in and let's see if we can get some movement, because cold cases seem to be your specialty. The way you just tuned in to explicit details of this case within the first second of interacting just blew my mind.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've like kind of when I do like personal readings, those readings are so different than these. Like
interesting.
Yeah, like when I do these readings, like I feel like I have to give you as much information in a short period of time, because typically when I'm dealing with law enforcement, they don't want to sit for 30 minutes. They want to sit for 10. So it's like I trained myself when I do this to kind of give an overview, detail, and like one thing for them to look into.
Wow.
Or two things that are like, and then they don't want to sit in more. So it's kind of, you know what I mean?
They don't want all the
they're
fancy
like, all right, let's
detail.
go. Come on. Like, all right, come on. So yeah, because like my normal readings are different. So
yeah, I was going to say, so say I'd booked you for a personal reading.
Yeah.
Would that then be, or like, I'm assuming, can people do that?
Yes. Yeah. People, I've a little bit of a wait list, but you can definitely do it. Yeah.
Yeah. You might be seen in 3 years, but you'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
So would that be like more of a typical, you might sit for half an hour or an hour?
No, like an hour. Yeah.
Oh, it's always an hour.
It's always like, I always try to do like 45 minutes to 55 minutes, but I'm a sucker. So I go like longer than an hour, because I want to give them as much as I can. Like, and then like eventually I'm like, all right, like I'm a little like, you know what I mean? Like I'm like drenched in sweat. I'm like, I gotta like I gotta chill for a minute. So yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, we need to work on some slightly better boundaries for you, just
seriously.
for your own mental health.
Please, I'll take it. Yeah, for real. I'll take it.
Like, all right, I can give you some time on that if you like.
Perfect. Yeah. I love that.
Oh, Jonathan, you are amazing. And we've taken up more than enough of your time today. So guys, make sure you're listening to his podcast and following him on Instagram and on TikTok.
Yeah.
Are you on any other platforms people should know about?
That's a good question. I should be better at this.
I know, same.
No, I mean, I probably have like a YouTube channel that I upload like here and there.
Yep.
Yeah, but pretty much like that stuff. Yeah. Like I'm pretty bad at it. So I'm sorry.
Great. He's not in it for the social media, but you can definitely catch him on Instagram at Jonathan Mark Medium. And I will put the link in the show notes.
Thank you.
Jonathan, you're amazing. Thank you so much for your time again.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.